Yeah, this is your show.
It is my show. I don't know why you're trying to hijack it. Am I just supposed to start off by saying welcome, that thing, and introduce?
That's probably a good place to start. Or we can just, we could just use the first 8 minutes and just keep going.
Probably not a good idea.
All right.
Welcome to Campus Pressbox, episode 56. I'm Kristen Botica, and I'm the deputy editor of football. And right now, I'm doing Damien Bowman's job on here this week so that Damien can enjoy being my guest, I guess.
That's right. I'm hanging out, listening to Miss Botica. Thanks for that pronunciation last week and this week.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you can say it correctly, unlike Mitch.
I knew what it was.
I think you knew from previous experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not my first rodeo.
But all right.
What's going on with you?
All sorts of things, but lots of football. Lots and lots of football.
We'll talk about football right now. Let's talk about football.
I'm ready to talk about football. It's almost here. Tomorrow night, I get to watch the first game that I actually care about all season. I want to know right off the bat, since we're going to just jump right into the season since it's almost here, what 2 games you plan on watching this weekend and why?
Okay. So there are only 4 games that matter this weekend. But the 2 that I will watch will be not USC and Alabama, which is sacrilege probably in this household, although I'm not at home, so that doesn't matter. Oklahoma and Houston, LSU and Wisconsin. And if I can have a third choice, which I can, Notre Dame and Texas. To me, those are the 3 most interesting games on the board. Alabama and USC, I don't think is even close. I think Alabama wins by 10 points or more. I think Lane Kiffin and Urban Meyer are making this game personal. I think Saban is upset that he has to travel to Dallas to play this game. Today he said he wanted this game in Tuscaloosa, but because of the millions of dollars that Jerry Jones is giving him, he is going to play this in Dallas. But I think no matter where they play this, Alabama by 2 touchdowns.
All right, that's fair. So what are you saying about Oklahoma-Houston? Is this an upset alert for you?
I think this is an upset alert. Now, you and I, before we started, we were talking about the teams that, we think we're going to have in the playoff. And I think Oklahoma is one of those teams that is not only in the playoff, but is playing in the championship game. And I think their biggest contender in the first half of their season is Houston. Obviously, if Houston beats them, that puts them immediately into everybody's playoff picture, which to me is still crazy considering their schedule. But I think this is a very good football game, and it's Saturday at noon. What else do you need Saturday at noon except for a potential playoff changer?
That's true. I mean, it's a great thing to get your day started to. Drink some beers.
Right. Exactly.
Whiskey, whatever your flavor is. I don't know what your flavor is.
What are you drinking on Saturday?
Probably root beer, actually, because that's what's in my fridge right now.
You're drinking root beer?
I mean, yeah, that's what's in my fridge. I'm kind of living on the college budget here.
Okay. And then after that, the 3:30 game, I'll be watching LSU Wisconsin at Lambeau Field because it's interesting, and it's an SEC team in the Big Ten. I expect Leonard Fournette and Darius Geis to run all over Wisconsin. I think it'll be interesting for about a quarter and a half. But anytime I get to watch the Big Ten people squirm when an SEC team beats them, I'm all in. I'm interested, and that's what's going to happen this weekend.
I'll enjoy that, too. I'm definitely with you on that one.
Right. And then my last game, like I mentioned, Notre Dame and Texas. It's actually Sunday at 7:30, which is great because it's the only thing on Sunday. So I probably will have started drinking at 3:30 that day, and by 7:30, I'll either be ready to go drink more or ready to go to bed. This game is only interesting because Notre Dame had 4 players arrested. They kicked 1 guy off the team and suspended 3 others. I have no idea. Where's this game at? This is in Texas, right?
Yeah, it's in Texas.
Yeah. And it's actually in Austin, right? It's not neutral site.
I know I talked about that before last week with Mitch.
Okay. So I'm interested to see how this shakes out after last year's game. And I'm interested to see, how Charlie Strong handles this season. And if he beats Notre Dame, obviously that's the best thing that can happen to him. But if not, I mean, he's probably gone after the Red River Shootout.
So you think he'll be gone not at the end of the season yet, or do you think they'll take them all the way through the season?
Okay, so if it were me, if I were whoever the athletic director is there now, I know Patterson's gone. I can't think of the new guy. If I were the athletic director at Texas, I would not fire Charlie Strong because I, as the athletic director, have to get the alumni and the boosters in order and tell them basically to shut the hell up and wait and be patient. But this is
when
Texas.
Are boosters patient?
Never. And especially at a school like Texas, which everybody talks about all the rich tradition of football, they've got like one national championship. So there's really not a whole lot of tradition there.
I don't even remember when Texas was good.
Vince Young.
How many years ago, though?
2005 or whatever. I mean, it's been 10 years. I mean, it's a legitimate point. Like, they haven't been that good in a long time. And before that, they weren't good, except for like the 70s or the 60s. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. But they have all this rich tradition at football and Texas and all this. And it's bullshit, So I'm interested in that. I think Notre Dame will probably still win. And I think Charlie Strong should survive the end of the season, but he's got enough obstacles in the Big 12. What about you? What are you watching?
I want to watch LSU and Wisconsin also, because basically the same reasons as you. I'm ready to see Leonard Fournette run all over a Big Ten defense because I think that's hilarious because they seem to think they have SEC defenses up there. So that will probably be my favorite game on Saturday. But also, I'm looking forward to Monday's game, Ole Miss and FSU, and it's technically a neutral site, but it's in Florida, so how neutral is that?
Do they ever leave the state? Florida State. Like, will they leave twice this year? I looked at their schedule.
I have no idea.
I think they leave twice this year.
That's pathetic.
How does this happen?
Lucky scheduling, I guess.
No, but for like 15 years in a row? Like, have they played a non-conference game out of Florida that was not a bowl game? When's the last time that's happened?
That's true, because Florida's just their go-to non-conference game.
Well, every school in Florida is what I'm saying. Or they make them come to them. I don't think they've left the state of Florida in a non-conference game, I would guess probably 10 years.
That might be something I have to look into later.
Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, everybody always talks about SEC teams, like not again, right? We just talked about the Big Ten. How about Florida State maybe go to Arizona? Just see what it's like out there in the dry heat, just to test it out.
I would love to see them go somewhere cold.
It's not going to happen in the middle of their schedule, though. They're not going to go, like week 8. They're not going to go to Penn State. I mean, that would be great. Or Ohio State. That
would be hilarious.
Yeah. But here's the thing. A lot of those kids are from cold weather anyway, and it's one game.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't put a whole lot of stock in this unless it's snowing. If it's snowing, it's different. But if it's just cold, I don't really think it's a big deal.
That's fair. I will say, though, that FSU Ole Miss game, despite it being in Florida, I'm just really interested in seeing actually what Ole Miss has going this year. I trust that FSU has a lot going, but as far as Ole Miss goes, I'm not sure that they have enough experience around Kelly to actually be super successful this season, like people seem to think they'll be. And I think that this game is going to tell us a lot about what we're going to see when Ole Miss and Alabama play again.
Yeah, I think that's one of two games that Alabama could lose this year.
I agree with that.
I think the only other game, I don't know if we're supposed to go here or not, but I'm just going to kind of go there. So if you want me to shut up, just tell me.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
I think the only other game that I would say that they would lose is against LSU, and only because it's at LSU, and I assume it will be a night game.
Yeah, I can understand why you would think that they might lose that.
Right.
Obviously, there's another one on my mind, but that might just be my dad in my head right now.
That's your dad. They're not losing to Tennessee. I don't care. Again, they could play it wherever the moon with no gravity. They would still find a way to win that game.
See, but if we were on the moon with no gravity, couldn't theoretically Josh Dobbs actually get the football in the air long enough to throw a good long pass?
No, because Alabama's defensive backs are still better than Tennessee's wide receivers.
Interesting. But how do you think that Alabama's offense matches up versus Tennessee's defense?
On the moon or on Earth?
anywhere.
Well, I don't know because I don't know who Alabama's quarterback is. And every year, this is like the same question, but I don't think it matters, right? I think it matters who the running backs are. And as long as they're decent, they don't have to be great. And if they have really good wide receivers who can extend the field, I think that matters as well. And I think that's the question that Alabama has to answer, right? And everybody says it's a quarterback. I can't tell you who their receivers are because I wasn't smart enough to look that up. I'm sure. Is Ridley coming back or is he gone?
I honestly don't remember.
I think if he's back, obviously he's a huge playmaker. And I'm sure that they probably have 4 other guys that are 5-star recruits that could start on 40 other FBS teams. You know what I mean? So as long as whoever the quarterback is can get the ball downfield accurately into the same jersey color that he's wearing, then I think Alabama will be okay. What's that?
Ridley is here, by the way. Just saying he will be here.
Thank you. I thought he had one more year left, but I couldn't remember. So I think, like I said, as long as the quarterback's accurate, to me, that's the biggest thing. You know, like who was that? The Baltimore Ravens won a Super Bowl with, I don't know, Kyle. I should have been a bowler or whatever his name was. And he couldn't do anything. But he didn't throw interceptions and he didn't fumble the ball. They won a Super Bowl. So,
did you see the Super Bowl last year by chance?
I did not see the Super Bowl last year. Sorry.
The quarterback play.
Who was that? Eli Manning? Oh.
Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning.
Whatever. I don't watch the NFL. Peyton Manning and Cam Newton. Yeah, I heard it was pretty bad.
It was pitiful. It's basically what I would expect from SEC quarterbacks right now, ironically enough.
Who did I just see got picked up? Mettenberger in the NFL? Somebody just picked him up.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It was a random NFL tweet I saw at the airport this morning, which was crazy. I didn't even know he was in the NFL. Like I thought he had, done his 3-year deal and retired, but I guess not.
He disappeared, but he came back. Oh, he's like Tebow, except probably better.
Yeah. And okay. So here's our Tebow sidebar. You started this, by the way. Another tweet. I wish I could find this stuff. There was a random tweet by NFL somebody that said that there was an NFL executive that called Tebow's agent week after week after week after week. And I don't know if this was last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, however many years ago, that said, have him please come play halfback. We just want to see him come play halfback, and he won't do it.
I saw something about that too.
Okay. So I didn't just imagine it. Why won't this guy just look, here's the thing.
Why choose baseball over football if you can just play football when you switch positions?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, right? Like, I mean, you want to make as much money as possible, so there's more money in baseball than there is football.
True.
And there's less body, whatever.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, look, I'm a poor guy and you're a poor girl, right? I'm here to make as much money as humanly possible. So if some dude wants to give me $500,000 to play halfback, I'm going to play halfback.
I would love to see that. I don't have $500,000 though.
Look, I don't even know what a halfback is. Okay. But if somebody gave me $500,000, I'd figure it out in about 5 minutes.
Well, I'm glad we got that Tim Tebow out of the way.
Okay. You don't have a Tebow opinion here?
I just think that he needs to stick to what he does best, and that's motivational speaking and being on SEC Network. I think that that's what he needs to stick to. Everybody knows that he's just not suited to be a quarterback in the NFL because of the way that he plays. So if he were going to be in the NFL, he should have, taken another opportunity. But I think it's ridiculous that he's pursuing baseball. I really do. Well, I think he just needs to give it up.
What is it, 28 or 30 teams, whatever, showed up the other day?
That's just insane. It's just because of his name. It's just because he's Tim Tebow.
I mean, don't you kind of have to show up? I mean, here's the thing. Like, he obviously has an arm, right? He played quarterback, so he can throw the ball probably from the outfield to third base, on maybe a one hop, maybe not. And he's probably not slow. Like, he's probably in really good shape. So is he worse than Alex Rodriguez? I don't know. Who knows?
Probably depends on how he hits, too.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think anybody has any question about his fielding ability or his throwing ability, but if he can't hit the ball, then it's not going to get signed anywhere.
Either way, I think he should just take a seat for now.
Forever.
Well, yeah, forever.
Literally sit on that SEC bus and go from one site to another. It's fine. They're giving you a lot of money.
Job.
What'd you say?
Get that job.
Yeah. It's a good job. He's good at it. Keep doing that.
If he doesn't want it, I'll take it.
Look, I'm in too. I'll hang out with Feinbaum all day.
That'd be pretty fun.
Me and Feinbaum. He can be the SEC guy, and I'll be the Big Ten guy. That's fine. We can yell and scream.
Oh, that sounds like something I might actually watch.
What's on the docket next year, Miss Botica?
I know we talked about it before we actually started recording, so obviously I'm going to revisit this one. I want to know your thoughts on Butch Jones in Tennessee and how they're going to fare in the SEC East, and then how the SEC East will fare against the West in the championship game. Okay,
so I will revisit what Bird and Seth and I talked about a few weeks ago on the SEC 401. I don't know what episode it is, but Kristen will put it in the notes for you. I think Tennessee is a very good football team, and I think I am not a Tennessee hater. I am not a Josh Dobbs hater like Mr. Marin Bloom. But I think Butch Jones, when things get tight, he makes bad decisions. I think that everything he does in the first three quarters is great, and then when the score's within a touchdown or 7 or 17 points or 13 points, whatever, he tightens up and he goes into prevent offense, and there's bad play calling. And when there's bad play calling, I think there's bad decisions by the quarterbacks and the line and the receivers. And I think he loses the fourth quarter, if that makes sense to you.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I can agree with that. I think he might start losing even before that in some cases.
Right. Yeah, that's possible. So in that regard, I think that, look, this is not going to be the year they beat Florida. I hate to break it to you or to your father. I know you don't care, but
it's not going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Tell your dad hello, but it's not happening this year. I'm sorry. Where's that game at? Gainesville?
No, that one's at Neyland this year.
Okay, so you'll be up there, and you'll be in your blue shirt, and he'll be in his orange, and they'll probably do checkered everything, and it'll be a lot of tears after. I'm sorry. There'll be tears.
I'll drink those tears.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. That's fine. What will this be, 8 in a row or something crazy like that?
This would be 12 in a row, actually.
I was trying to give him a little credit there. I didn't think it was that high, but,
UT actually more recently beat Alabama than Florida.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not
sad.
Good. This is what I tell my friends who go to the military academy at West Point. I go, look, it's 13 in a row. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year. It's not going to happen for 5 years. It's not going to happen until it happens. That's what I keep telling people. Right? Same thing here. It's not going to happen until it happens. So I'm just going to keep saying Florida's going to win until Tennessee proves me wrong.
That's fair.
So
everybody said it was going to be last year, and it wasn't. No. They didn't prove you wrong.
No.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what else? Tennessee's not going to beat Georgia.
I can see that. That game is in Georgia,
yeah,
so
it's not going to happen. Between the hedges, they're out. With Kirby Smart, not a chance. And UGA 12 or whatever one they're on now, no way. Those people will be ready. They'll be drunk and they'll be ready.
So you have Georgia winning the East then?
No, Florida.
Florida, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Give me the Gators.
I'll let you take the Gators all day. Make up for me not taking them.
Who do you have? Tennessee?
Yes, I do.
Oh, my God.
It's just all the returning players. I can't imagine. And as long as Butch Jones isn't using whatever stupid card he was using in the fourth quarter here at Florida last year, then I don't think that they're going to have the same problems. But who knows? Maybe he didn't throw that card out yet.
So Tennessee beats Florida and Georgia is what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Okay. What are you saying here? Let's clarify. Let's get it on tape, as they say.
Well, my dad and I were talking about this, but it really is more important, aside from pride here, it's more important for Tennessee to beat Georgia than it is for them to beat Florida.
Correct.
The issue here is Georgia's SEC schedule versus Florida's SEC schedule. Florida plays LSU and Arkansas, which I believe is harder than Georgia's SEC schedule.
Who they play?
I think it was Auburn, and I cannot remember the other one. They play Ole Miss. That's who they play.
In Oxford.
At Ole Miss.
Oh, that's not good.
I don't know that's that bad, honestly. I don't have a lot of faith in Ole Miss, in case you can't tell from earlier, with the Chad Kelly not having anybody around him comment. So I think that having LSU and Arkansas on your schedule is way harder than having Ole Miss and Auburn on your schedule.
All right, let's start here. Does Georgia beat North Carolina this weekend?
Oof, I think so.
You think so? Does Georgia beat Missouri?
Yes.
Okay, so they're 3-0 going to Ole Miss. They're going to Ole Miss 3-0. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
Hey, you think they're just going to walk in, just say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
All right,
I could see it.
All right.
I have a lot of faith in Kirby Smart, mostly because of his past coaching experience.
Okay, so Ole Miss.
Past coaching experience.
All right, let's do it this way. Does Ole Miss beat Florida State?
No.
Does Ole Miss beat Alabama?
Oof. I can't decide on this one, actually.
Flip a coin right now.
No.
Okay, so they're going to be 1-2 versus Georgia, and you think they're just going to say, "Hey, you guys can have it. We're cool."
I don't think they're just going to let them have it.
Well,
but
I mean, that's essentially what they're going to do, right? You either win or you lose.
Okay, but I don't think that it's going to be a blowout or anything like that. I don't think Georgia's going to run away with the game. But I do think Georgia has enough talent on offense to overcome the talent that Ole Miss has.
I disagree.
Well, don't we always disagree?
Always. We do, actually.
So we do best.
Yeah, that's what we do. Okay, so I can't remember what my order of finish here was for the SEC East. Florida, Tennessee, Georgia,
Vanderbilt.
No, Vanderbilt's down there. Oh, no, Kentucky.
Okay.
Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Missouri. You can flip-flop the last two, probably. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think the top four are right. I think the top four is what I said.
I disagree, but we'll see.
Well, how does the East finish?
I think Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Missouri.
I should have somebody go to Vegas and put like $50 on Florida to win the SEC East for me.
I mean, you could do that.
I wonder.
If you want to waste $50.
You're such a positive person.
Just a ray of sunshine.
Yeah. All right. What else? Are we going to talk about the Pac-12 now? Or do we already do that?
We can talk about the Pac-12 if you want to. Whether or not you think they can get back in the playoffs this season, I'd love to know.
There's not a chance. Every team in that conference is terrible.
So Stanford's terrible.
Well, Stanford's decent.
Okay.
Stanford's decent. Hang on. Now I got to flip over there. It's just what happens when you just switch topics here on me.
Stanford's preseason number 8. I mean, you suggested this switch in topic.
I did. Yeah, this is your show.
It is my show. I don't know why you're trying to hijack it. There's the evil laugh. Stanford is preseason number 8 for AP poll. They were 12-2 last season, 8-1 in conference.
Okay, so the best thing going for Stanford is that they do not play on a Thursday, but they do play on a Friday, and they play in Seattle. It's not good. It's not good. Nothing good can happen to a Pac-12 contender on a Thursday. But they're not playing on a Thursday. They're playing on a Friday, but in a very loud stadium. Who's your pick for the Pac-12? Was this North or South or however they do this out there?
I don't even know how they do the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 is so irrelevant at this point in my mind.
This is my point. This is my point.
It's a good point. You actually have a good point for once.
Okay, thank you. This is my point about the Pac-12. If I had to pick two teams, I will take I don't know. Give me Stanford and give me Oregon.
Interesting.
Right? Okay. I'll take Stanford. Now, do I think that they make the playoff? No. But if they win out, they have to get in. Right? And their toughest game, I mean, look, USC is not good. I don't care what anybody says. Notre Dame in South Bend will be interesting. And they're at Oregon, and then they're at Cal back-to-back. Like, I think those are two interesting games for them. Other than that, they should beat everybody. UCLA will be interesting at the end of September. So 4 interesting games.
I was going to say at UCLA.
At UCLA, which, by the way, I am on the Josh Rosen plane or, train, bandwagon. He and I'm locked into this kid.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Moving vehicle.
It's my guy.
So what do you think about Washington then, since Washington was, left out of that little spiel there?
I think they'll be decent. Let me see. Where do they play?
They
To me,
play
it all.
at Washington. The week after they play at UCLA.
Right, but the question is, where does Washington play Oregon, and it's at Oregon. See, to me, that's the biggest obstacle for every team in the North is Oregon. Now, we can laugh and joke about Brady Hoke, but he's a pretty good defensive coordinator, and he's a DC at Oregon now. So, I don't know if anybody's offense is going to be able to get through his defense. And I don't know if Washington's got enough to get through it. Now, this would probably be a good time for Mike to come in here and talk about 12 teams that nobody's ever heard of, being the Pac-12. But he's not here, so I'm all you got. That's my Pac-12 analysis right there for you. So,
all right,
so give me Stanford, but they're not going to make the playoff because I think they lose 1 or 2 games.
All right. So who do you think will make the playoff then?
Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Ohio State.
We have 3 of the same picks.
Who don't you have Florida State over Clemson, right?
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair.
And that's painful for me as a Gator, but I still did it.
Well, hey, you're being objective or whatever
trying to be.
Journalists people are supposed to be. I don't know.
I still hate them.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Who do we leave out here?
Did we talk about the Big 12? Can't remember.
No, we did not talk about it live. We talked about it.
There we go.
Yeah. Wait. Here's the thing. Why I need to hear your thoughts about the Big 12.
I definitely have Oklahoma coming out of the Big 12. I think that it's just interesting, some of the positions that these teams are in. I don't know how Kenny Hill is going to do for TCU. So I kind of think TCU might be a little overrated. Baylor, I'm just really not sure about after all of the offseason drama, so I don't even know what to make of them. Basically, I don't know what to make out of the Big 12 except for Oklahoma.
Okay, so this is going to be, I don't even know if there's a word for this, so I'm just going to say whatever, and then you can chastise me for it. I think that TCU has no chance to win because Gary Patterson is the fattest coach in college football.
That might have to be the title.
What? Isn't he
Which part of that?
Isn't he? I don't know. You'll figure it out. Isn't he the fastest coach in college football? So Seth thinks it's Brett Bielema. I think Patterson's got him beat.
I don't know. I should pull up pictures of the
side by side. Them. Yeah, and make sure your roommates walk in on you while you got pictures of these 2 fat dudes on your computer.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah, that'd be a great conversation for later or now, whatever.
Or just a conversation for never.
Yeah. Oh, no. That's a good conversation. So, okay, but for real, like Kenny Hill does nothing for me. And I think that...
Kenny Trill.
Exactly. Okay, so, how long ago was that? How was his kid still in school?
Yeah, that seems like it was forever ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 2 years ago when I first started writing with you guys?
That was like right after Johnny Manziel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That was like the year after.
Yep. And he balled out like 1 game.
Right.
And then just went downhill.
Against Alabama.
Crazy.
And that was it. And I haven't heard from him since. Actually, I had to think about who this kid was, but then you said his name. I was like, oh, this is who this kid is. So, and then earlier you asked me about Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm. The Cowboys.
Yeah, they're going to lose to West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Stillwater. T. Boone will have a heart attack right there. And probably TCU. They'll probably lose to TCU. Beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. You ever been to Texas?
Yes, I've been to Fort Worth, Dallas area.
Yeah.
That's where my sister lives.
I'm not a Dallas fan. I prefer Houston and Austin.
Never been to either one of those two.
Gotta go. Gotta get down there.
I haven't had as many years to go places as you have.
Yeah, well, I'm like 10 years older than you, so that's what you get.
All right, so we went through all of them.
No.
What? What did we forget?
We forgot about the Big Ten.
Oh, gosh. Here we go with the Big Ten. All right, so what's your storyline for the Big Ten? How do you think it plays out? You said you have Ohio State at the top.
Correct. Ohio State, which is, I'm not an Ohio State fan. I don't know if you knew this.
Neither am I.
Yeah. So obviously I think the Big Ten runs to the East. The West, I mean, I guess you can flip-flop between Iowa and Wisconsin. A lot of people are on the Iowa train because of last year. But I think Wisconsin will be pretty decent. The East, I can't get behind Harbaugh. I need him to actually win something. And Mitch always says, well, what do you want him to win since the last time he won something? Well, as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't won anything. Like, he won a bunch of games last year, but he didn't beat Michigan State. He didn't beat Ohio State. And everybody says, well, you know, that last play against Michigan State. And I said, did he beat Michigan State or did he not beat Michigan State? And they say, well, you know, if that kid hadn't, and I said, did they beat Michigan State or did they not beat Michigan State? Like, this is kind of a black and white question. People always get this confused.
They're in denial.
Like 8 months later, or however long it is. Like, it's not even a difficult question. Like, you can let it go. All right, so Big Ten, here's how I think it finishes. Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Rutgers, Maryland. Any of those last three, you can flip however you want. It doesn't really matter. You know. Most likely to be fired, James Franklin, Penn State. He's got to go. He's a very good guy, but he's not going to work out of Penn State. Like, I don't know what their game plan is. I don't know who they can get in there, but they need to bring a big name in there that can coach. So, whoever, a young guy. I actually think PJ Fleck would be great there. I don't know if you know who that is. That's the guy from Western Michigan, the young guy.
Okay, I mean, I know Western Michigan actually has done decently well considering they're Western Michigan.
Right, exactly. Most likely to have the craziest ending in 2 games, Jim Harbaugh. You mentioned the Iowa game. I think that's a great place to have a crazy ending where he loses.
I'd enjoy that so much.
I think everybody. How do you feel about Harbaugh?
Okay, this is actually a very interesting question for me. Harbaugh, very entertaining dude, great coach. If he were my coach, I would love him, but he's not my coach, so I hate him.
Yeah, I don't hate him. And this is like...
he just gets on my nerves.
Yeah,
he's like that little gnat that buzzes around your head and you just want to get rid of him.
Exactly. And I know a lot of it is like the media, but he inserts himself in all this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen his tweets?
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, but I can imagine. I mean, I see the ones that get, retweeted or whatever, which is probably all of them. But like the whole thing, like with the satellite camps and the this and the that, and it's just like the pants and the hat and the
sleepovers. He likes sleepovers.
The lanyard with the pen. Like, dude, I mean, I got it, but it's July. Can you just wear shorts and a hoodie or something like everybody else? I don't know. Just like be normal. Can you just be a normal guy for like 10 minutes?
No, he can't.
Like, do you think he wears those khakis in his house?
He probably sleeps in those khakis.
And you know what else bothers me? This is really what bothers me. If you want to wear khakis, that's fine. But does the entire staff have to wear khakis on the sideline during game? The entire staff wears khakis. It's like,
I didn't even ever realize that.
Yeah, it's like he's emasculated all of them. Like, you can't wear anything but khakis and blue shirts. That's it. Like, there's really nothing else anybody can wear. No black, no blue, but khaki. It's just stop, dude. Stop. So, and then what do I have? Most likely to lose an important game because of an interesting officiating decision. It's Michigan State. It's the game that they'll play against Michigan that they'll lose because something crazy will happen, and it will be some referee will do something, and Michigan State will end up losing that game.
And which game do you think they're going to end up losing?
Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll be that game.
So Michigan fans will get their redemption.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's in East Lansing, so I mean, it's not really the same, but they'll take it. They haven't beaten Michigan State in probably, I don't know, like 50 years at this point, it feels like. I just, I don't know if I'm ready for a world where Michigan wins the Big Ten, like this soon.
I'm not ready.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine.
The fans.
Oh, actually, like, when they finally beat Ohio State, like, I will be okay with that because I'm sick of hearing Ohio State people say, oh, we beat Michigan 8 years in a row or 9 years in a row, or it's like there's a counter, like a clock. Like, we've beaten, it's been, was it like 9,555 days or whatever since Michigan's beaten us or whatever. It's just like, do we need a clock? Can't we just count by years at this point?
I mean, it is Ohio State fans.
Yeah. I live in Ohio, by the way.
I know.
I can't deal with it.
It's like me and Florida State fans. I live in Florida. I can't deal with them.
That's what Bird says about Alabama fans.
Actually, I can't deal with Miami fans either, most of the time.
What if they won?
Nothing. And they're so cocky for nothing.
They don't even have a stadium. What if they won? No one even shows up to their games.
Anything. But I mean, now that they have Mark Richt, maybe, eventually.
I mean, maybe.
Eventually.
I mean, it's the
Not
ACC,
yet.
right? So, I mean, I guess anything's possible.
It's easier than winning the SEC.
Absolutely. Are they in the same division as Florida State?
I don't even know, actually.
No one knows. No one knows. This is my point.
Does it really matter?
This is my point. Nobody knows.
The ACC. There's only 2 teams that matter in the ACC right now.
Well, and Georgia Tech, because they always win that division. Although I guess I heard Duke was like the favorite in the, what is it, the Coastal? I don't even know.
Yeah, there's the Coastal.
Who's in the Coastal?
Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami, North Carolina, Pitt, Virginia, and Virginia Tech.
So let's talk about Arkansas here for a second.
Oh, no.
Just I have one stat. That's it.
Okay.
Or not stat, but just like a interesting thing. So we talked about we talked about how Ohio State plays every team in their division on the road except for Rutgers or whichever one that is, one game. Arkansas plays as of right now, right, August 31st or whatever day it is. They play 5 ranked teams, 4 of them at home. How crazy is that? 4 ranked teams at home. 5 total, and they'll probably get a 6, by the time season's over.
How many of them do you think they'll win, though?
How did I know you were going to ask me that question? Of course I wasn't.
Should have been prepared.
Yeah, look, Catholic school, we're never prepared.
I know the feeling.
Never prepared for any of this nonsense. Kidding me?
It's like past your bedtime anyways at this point.
All right, look, I'm usually good till like midnight, but like I'm an hour off, but it's still midnight to me or 11 o'clock to me. So I'm still like, I'm all right. Who are we talking about here?
Arkansas. How many of those home games against ranked teams are they going to win?
Hang on, I still got to scroll to the SEC here. Arkansas, because I need the rankings. Like I need to know who the teams are.
Well, obviously, I know they play Florida.
Well, it's all the West teams.
And they play Florida. I know that.
Yeah. So they're at TCU week 2.
An interesting game.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like that's actually very interesting. That might be the best game on the board that day, to be honest with you. 7 o'clock on ESPN for some reason.
I'll remember that.
Home against Alabama, home against Ole Miss the next week, home against Florida, and then home against LSU the week after that.
So it's all in a row.
Oh, well, I mean, so Auburn's between Ole Miss and Florida.
Okay. That helps a little bit.
Not much. But like, and I doubt it, but like Mississippi State could be ranked.
Without Dak Prescott, they have nothing.
There's a chance, like
a small chance.
There's a chance. I mean, and the same thing with like Texas A&M. Like, who knows what's going to happen with them?
True.
You know what I mean? Like, so if these rankings hold, and then Texas A&M or Mississippi State get ranked, they'll have 6 ranked teams, and then Texas A&M is at home, so they'll play 5 ranked teams at home in the regular season. Like, that's got to be some type of record.
How many of those are they going to win, though? I'm not letting that question go.
Yeah, so I'll go to TCU. Like, I think they have a really good chance there.
I do too. We just agreed on something.
Yeah, I know. Write it down. And they had Alabama on the ropes. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I want to say it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it was in Fayetteville. So maybe a chance. Depends on who Alabama has the week before, on October 1st. Ole Miss, kind of the same thing. I think they beat Florida.
Huh. Interesting. But you still think Florida wins the East?
Well, yeah. Yeah, you just got to win your division. Look, I'm hoping for chaos here.
You're hoping for another dumpster fire?
Yeah, I'm hoping for SEC East dumpster fire chaos, like,
What was it? Was that 2 years ago that I did that? I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So Alabama, before they have Arkansas, has Kentucky at home, which I don't think Kentucky's terrible. I don't think they'll beat Alabama at home, but I think that Alabama could overlook Kentucky for Arkansas because it's a division game.
That's true. I mean, Kentucky has some talented players, actually. They have some good running backs. JoJo Kemp, my favorite name.
JoJo Kemp.
Yes, I love that name. I don't know why. Actually, I love Tease Tabor.
Yeah. Who is this Tease Tabor guy? What's going on here? You've been tweeting about this Tabor guy for like a week. What's going on?
He's basically the love of my life.
Because Dak is gone?
No. Because he is...
I mean, what's going on here?
He just loves antagonizing people, and it is so entertaining to watch.
Who does he play for?
He plays for Florida.
Oh, of course.
He's a cornerback. He's basically the next Vernon Hargreaves. He had similar stats to Vernon Hargreaves last year as far as they both had 4 interceptions. Hargreaves had more return yards on those interceptions, but he actually had more pass breakups than Hargreaves. But needless to say, they're very similar, very great cornerbacks. But Jalen Tabor has made a name for himself by not only calling out the UAA here in Gainesville, but also likening college football to slavery. And he also just loves to be very vocal about the fact that Florida's just always going to beat Tennessee. It's just a game that Florida wins.
I like that.
And that's the fun part.
Yeah, I like that. Now,
that's the part that I enjoy.
Yeah, I agree with him on that. It is until it changes, right?
Exactly.
Right. Tell your dad.
But he's
that.
a character.
What's the who's going to win the Heisman?
Who's going to win?
Do you care about the Heisman?
I mean, I kind of care.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you?
I don't even know who won it last year. I couldn't tell you.
Really?
I have no idea.
Derrick Henry, Alabama?
No, yeah, I have no idea.
Ring a bell?
No. I mean, I've heard of him. I mean, I know who he is, but like...
He looks like the dude that's on steroids, and now Bo Scarborough is replacing him, and he looks like he's on steroids as well.
Okay.
They put something in that water. Heisman.
Oh, yeah. I don't know who. McCaffrey from Stanford? I don't know who.
I don't know, actually. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dalvin Cook up there.
Okay.
I think Dalvin Cook is just overlooked a lot at this point.
What about the guy from Clemson?
Deshaun Watson? Yeah. I mean, I could see him there too. So, I mean, he is a dual threat quarterback.
Okay, that's great. We're done with that one. That was cute. So when Nick Saban retires after he wins a championship this year, do you think Dabo Swinney leaves Clemson for Alabama?
Is it Dabo or Dabo?
Whatever.
I thought it was Dabo.
Nobody knows. No, it's not even his name. Who cares? It's a nickname. Who cares what it is?
Do I think he leaves for Alabama?
Yeah.
I would if I were him.
Why?
Alabama right now is just set up a lot better, I think, for years to come.
Okay, so let me put it to you this way. Let's try this a different way.
Okay.
Right, and I am a big the person after the legend is like screwed, right? That's kind of how I feel. Like if you look at Alabama, the decade of darkness, right after Gene Stallings, and they had all those other idiots in there. Then they finally got Nick Saban.
Well, Tennessee with Kiffin and Dooley. That was after Fulmer.
And Jones.
Well, Jones, the jury's still out on Jones.
The jury has returned its verdict. Out.
Your jury is not my jury.
Okay. We have our own juries now. That's great. That's wonderful. I'll just carry my mom with me when I go out at night. And actually USC, right? Pete Carroll. Same thing. So we're going to talk about Lane Kiffin.
Oh, gosh.
Right? Same thing, though.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
So, okay. So I guess here's a better question. if Ohio State and Alabama both open at the same time, so if Meyer and Saban leave at the same time, and you're Dabo or Dabo or whatever his name is, where would you go?
I would go to Alabama.
Really? So this is where I'm actually going to take Ohio State in this one.
Why? Because it's easier to win the Big Ten than the SEC West?
Correct. That's the first thing.
Okay. I saw that part of it.
Right. And I think that you can take Urban Meyer out and insert someone who is a good coach and a good recruiter and that people generally like, and it will be okay. But the next person at Alabama has to either be Nick Saban,
Jesus.
Correct. And I think that you're not going to get that the first time. Like, I think if it were Kirby Smart, then maybe. Like, I think Kirby Smart can kind of play both sides of that. Even, like, crazy as it sounds, like, Will Muschamp can probably play that. Like, I think he probably would be okay there. He wouldn't be great. He wouldn't be Saban. But I think it would be decent. But if I'm Dabo? Is that how you say it?
Dabo,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Whatever.
Dabo,
whatever. I'm going Ohio State. Big Buckeyes all the way. Fight the team across the field. Show them Ohio's here. You know, just me.
Yeah, I guess we can disagree on another thing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, look, I think Alabama's a great institution for football. We should clarify that. But I think they've had 4 great coaches and everybody else is very mediocre. And I think after Saban leaves, it's going to be down. Like, I think, if Les Miles is still around, maybe LSU becomes a great program in the SEC West, or Hugh Freeze.
I'm not sure about Hugh Freeze.
No, he'll get a show cause anyway, so it won't matter. But
that'll be fun.
Yeah. So, all right, what else? Are we done? I
think we are done. So now you get to tell people where they can find you.
On Twitter at Damien Bowman, DamienBowman. You can email Damien.Bowman@campuspressbox.com. And if you are bold, 216-408-5527. Mitch loves it when I do that.
All right. And I'm Kristen Botica. You can find me on Twitter at OG Kristen, KristenB. And you can also email me if you really want to at Kristen.Botica@campus.
She just owns a domain now. It's like it's just
mine. Yeah. Everything's mine.
Hey, I'll send the bills your way. They're all due tomorrow.
Right. But so. Kristen.Botica@campuspressbox.com.
Before you say the actual goodbye, subscribe, review, rate on iTunes, Stitcher. Where the hell else are we? Pocket Cast, Zune, BlackBerry World, if you're crazy enough to have one of those. Google Play. Sign up for the subscribe or the Insiders program. It's $3 a month, so you get to comment on forums. You get to tell Kristen what you wanted to write about.
You get to tell Damien he's an idiot.
Yeah, actually, yes. I wish you would do that. That's fine. If you read my
Somebody
stuff,
besides me.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell me that. That's it. All yours, Kristen.
Well, I don't even know how to end this thing.
Well, how would you end a phone call?
Thanks for joining us on Campus Press Box 56.
That's how you end your phone calls?
Yes, that's how I would end it.
Okay.
Very anticlimactic, right?
Yeah. Thanks for calling me. I will talk to you soon.
Basically. Bye. It's actually usually how I do it. Just go bye and hang up.